the darkness retreat, which again, however people get right mentally, I'm for. I don't care. Want to smoke a joint?
I'm having a little darkness retreat. They're still back.
Oh, I see. Very clever there. There you go. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I do think there's enough credible reporting now. I thought when Aaron Rodgers said, I'm going to do this retreat and it'll get me closer to my answer, I thought, timeout. You got to have an answer after the retreat, right? You can't. It's like, honey, I'm going to go with some really cute girls to Vegas, and that'll get me closer to if I want to continue our marriage. Like, that's not the answer you got to get, right?
Although, unless charitably, maybe like it's darkness retreat, ayahuasca. Maybe that's the doubleheader. And by the way, like, I agree with you. Whatever gets you through the night, and I totally respect Aaron's process on it. It's easy to make fun of. He offered the information, so people are gonna, have some fun with it. But I know that the Packers, organizational attitude has changed from 2 years of, okay, we got to find a way to make it work with Aaron, like under any circumstance, to listen, man, if you want to go back to being all in and you're into this, we can do something cool here. But anything short of that, whatever. So that makes me think they're going to get to a place where Aaron says, hey, I want to go here. And then whether they'll send him where he wants is another question. But, they believed that, just look at the optics. We saw Patrick Mahomes throwing with his new receivers, all these quarterbacks getting together with people. Aaron blew off the offseason, which is his right, but, didn't organize throwing sessions, and then kind of seemed to act a little disdainfully toward the rookies.
Right.
They clicked late, made a run, fell just short. And I think the Packers believed that they paid him all the money, which was good. He'd earned it. But then he took the money and was kind of like, oh, okay, you're trading Devontae, getting these new guys in. I'm going to just, dial it back a little bit. And it's a position where you kind of got to be all in. So he's so talented, and he'll probably find a way to get an edge and a chip and on his shoulder and come back for someone and be fierce. I'm trying to figure out a way that happens in Green Bay. It feels less likely to me.
Yeah, I think somebody I trust inside that organization I ran into in the Super Bowl, at the Super Bowl. And I had made a comment to this person inside the Packers organization. This is somebody that wears the uniform, about Aaron. And there was a little bit of an eye roll by this person who said, yeah, we're all kind of waiting for Aaron to make up his mind. And it wasn't said with anger or disdain, but it was what you're seeing is what we're seeing.
And we know this, Colin, in all sports, right? Like, when you are performing at a transcendent level, as Aaron did the previous 2 years, there's a whole lot that instead of eye rolling, it's like, that's our quirky guy, like you put up with a lot. But the second it starts to slip, especially when effort is perceived to be part of it, then that's when, and the Russell Wilson thing is a great example. Then it all starts coming out like, oh my, do you realize what we got to put up with? I mean, Tom Brady, it's a testament to Tom Brady that you didn't hear that stuff this year, despite the fact that he was clearly going through some stuff. As he said, he was gone for a big chunk of training camp. He was allegedly going to miss Wednesdays. I don't think that actually really happened much, but there was all this separation between what Tom Brady normally would have been doing and what Tom Brady was doing. He played well. He didn't play transcendent, but he played very well. But what a testament to him that we didn't hear much about, oh my God, Tom Brady, they let him do anything. And obviously he has a lot of capital in the bank, but That's, I think, what we're getting with Aaron now. I think there would have been moments of eye rolling in 20 and 21, but he was just so good that in that building, they were like, hey, man,
Yeah.
that's our guy.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that seems fairly obvious is you'd want to send him to the AFC, which has already been reported, and you'd want to send him to the Raiders because of that division, right? The Raiders are a fascinating team. So if you let go of Derek Carr, I don't think you can back into the season with Jarrett Stidham. You're going to take a big swing. It's like when the Broncos were losing Tebow, they went with Peyton Manning, right?
Solve that problem.
You want to quiet the crowd down. And Derek Carr, say whatever you want, pretty popular guy, right? Pretty capable quarterback.
Yeah.
So the Jarrett Stidham reports, to me he's a backup or a really, really like 28th best quarterback in the league guy. What do I know? But I do think the Aaron Rodgers, I could see the Raiders saying, we'll give you a first, one of our fifths, a first in that division. That feels right for Aaron Rodgers. But I also look at Robert Saleh and the Jets, and I think, Mike, they're really behind the eight ball here.
Yeah.
They got real issues.
And they hired Hackett as the offensive coordinator. Yeah.
So what give me a Raiders, Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Where do you land on that stuff?
And by the way, let's throw the Titans in there. I think that's a fair thought. So I think with the Raiders, if they make a move for Aaron Rodgers, that's ownership driven. I think if it was just Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, based on what I know, they might poke around Aaron, but they're not thinking, hey, man, that's the answer to our dreams at this point. They probably think Stidham, who in the one game I saw him live, did look like the 8th best quarterback. Like he was dealing, and then he came down to earth the next day. But they're probably thinking Stidham and then go get a young guy. They have a pretty high pick in this draft. Do something like that. Which I don't know if that's a sustainable solution if you're Josh and embattled, but I think that would be the team building, preference from the front office. But then, Mark Davis was the guy who wanted Russell Wilson. Mark Davis wants a star. He wants someone to put in that new stadium and give them a new identity. And so I could see Mark Davis saying, you know what, let's do that. And, the owner's always got that kind of sway. I don't know that it's going to cost as much as a one and simply because they are under because of the contract. If they decide, hey, we're moving on, you're going to, we're parting ways, they have a great deal of incentive to get out from under that cap hit. And Aaron knows that. And so that can be used against them. And so I don't know how much it's really going to take to get them. And B, more important, this whole, they're not going to send him to a team in the NFC. I don't know that. I mean, Aaron's got leverage in that he can say, fine, I'm coming back, even though we don't want to be with each other. He can also say, go ahead and cut me because your cap situation with this, deal as it currently stands is not good. And he can also, force, figure out with the new team, can we change the contract to make it more team friendly? So I think Aaron's a part of this. So I don't know for sure that he's going to not go where he wants. It's possible that the Packers will have their way, but it's possible he'll have leverage. And, with all of that said, the Jets make a lot of sense to me because if you're Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh at this point with an impatient owner, with an owner who essentially made you change offensive coordinators and you hire the guy who has the relationship with Aaron, you had an incredible draft. You've got a lot of pieces around you, but you're in a very tough division. I think there's a lot of reason where you'd say, yeah, let's do anything to get Aaron Rodgers and put him with this team in this town.
So I'll throw a wild card in. So pivoting back to my replace Tebow with Peyton Manning. And John Elway, was told this during the entire Tebow Denver run, that Elway just did not buy into it at all. He thought it was a joke.
Yes, very true.
But he knew there's a strong Christian community in Denver, and they would be chanting Tebow.
Yeah.
So John went out and said, "We got to bring in a headline band, and the undercard is overwhelmed, right?"
I mean, Colin, I'll tell you this: the second the Peyton Manning news broke, I texted someone who was pretty high up in that organization, and the instant reply was, "Bye, Tim." It was not, "Yeah, we got Peyton." It was like, "We solved this problem. Even if Peyton never plays it down for us, we don't have Tebow anymore." So you're absolutely right.
So let me go back to a wild card for Aaron, AFC. San Francisco's cap situation wouldn't allow Aaron, but the AFC version of that is Miami. And because Tua has a following, and because he's been, kind of bounced around between the Deshaun Watson rumors and Ryan Fitzpatrick, you bring in Aaron. And Aaron looks at that and goes, "I got a left tackle, Gesicki, 2 receivers, no state tax, single guy, down by the water." And you bring in and no Dolphin fan complains about replacing Tua. In fact, Tua probably doesn't, I don't know if it's possible, but they don't have Coach
who could scheme it up too.
That's one I just keep thinking. San Francisco light is Miami.